Hey, how's it going, guys? Jack and Matt here with the Toasty Bros, and today we have a brand new graphics card that's under $200, and it's not really that new. It's a 1660 Super from Aisurix.
So yeah, we've been taking a look at a lot of these cards from Aisurix, a company that's been taking older gen cards and basically reselling them on Amazon with Prime shipping. This one right here is a 1660 Super, a GPU we've been testing a lot recently because it's pretty good for the money, but is the price they're selling at on Amazon worth it? Well, we're about to find out, but first, a word from today's sponsor.
Today's video is brought to you by our friends at Bitphoenix and their Tracery case with a very unique and beautiful RGB illumination front panel made from solid steel. This front panel not only looks beautiful but provides great airflow to your PC build and includes a mesh dust filter. This case also features an easy to remove tempered glass side panel, 4 included fans, ample room for cable management, and support for up to 360mm radiators at the front or on top of the case, with enough room to even fit the latest RTX 4000 series GPUs. To learn more about this awesome new case from Bitphoenix, check the link down below, and shout out again to Bitphoenix for sponsoring today's video.
So first we're going to talk about the graphics card, and then we're going to talk about the test bench that the graphics card will be going into, because we're going to be giving you guys some epic game tests.
Now, as we mentioned, this is just a normal 1660 Super, but Aisurix is selling it on Amazon new, and this thing features, well, 6 gigs of GDDR6 memory, which is still pretty modern. I think that's what gives it its, well, relevancy nowadays. And this GPU comes with a base frequency of 1530 megahertz. It can boost all the way up to 1785 megahertz. It did release back in October of 2019 and is part of the 16 series line that does come with the NVIDIA encoder, by the way. One of the main reasons why people are still picking these cards up. It did launch at $229, and the price point on Amazon right now is $179. So that's the kind of weird thing about this card. On the used market, you can pick this thing up for, let's say, 130 to 140 bucks. I'm okay with people selling these cards for, let's say, a few bucks more, but I think this price is a little bit too high, but we'll dive into that more during the benchmark section. Let's just go ahead and talk about this test bench and what we're going to be putting this graphics card inside.
So for our controlled test bench environment, we have a very high airflow system featuring the Ryzen 7 5700X, which is an 8-core 16-thread, has a 240mm deep cool liquid cooler. We have an Asus TUF B550M. We have a 1TB Team Group NVMe SSD. We have 16 gigs of PNY Accelerate 3600 MHz RGB RAM. We have an XPG 650 watt power supply, and then we have a very nice deep cool case with, like I said, lots of airflow.
Now what we're gonna go ahead and do is take this graphics card, slap it in our test bench, run through a bunch of different games, and just talk about the value proposition of this graphics card while also mentioning what kind of CPU you would pair with this thing if you happen to pick it up on Amazon today.
Alright gamers, now that we have this Aisurix 1660 Super on the test bench, let's dive into some game testing, shall we? Now the games we have are as follows. We got Cyberpunk, we got Red Dead Redemption 2, we got Forza Horizon 5, Call of Duty Warzone, Apex Legends, and last but not least, your favorite Fortnite. Now let's talk about the value of this card real quick, because right now on Amazon, at the time of recording this voiceover on March 14th, it is $179. Now I really think the price point in this card should be about $10 to $15 cheaper. Just looking at the average use price of 1660 Supers right now, they can be had for about $130 to $140. Similar to the RX 580 2048 stream processors, I was okay if the card was being sold for about $30 to $40 more than the cards that you could buy from, let's say, AliExpress, but we're looking more like $40 to $50 compared to the AliExpress cards that you could buy, other 1660 Supers like this. So I would like to see this card at like $169 for it to be a good value, because we are competing with some other new cards right now at that price point. Paying just $20 more steps you up to like an RX 6600 from Amazon, so that's honestly a much better buy. So at $159 to $169, I think this would be a much better buy, but regardless, none of this really matters if the card isn't any good at all, so let's just go ahead and test it and see how it performs. Now first up in Cyberpunk at 1080p medium preset with the balanced AMD FSR setting, we got an average of 90 FPS, a minimum of 42, and a max of 128. This is a really demanding AAA title, and this had no problem getting a 60 plus FPS experience, more like a 90 plus FPS experience. I imagine using Cyberpunk on, let's say, high settings with the balanced AMD FSR preset, you would have no problems getting 80 FPS on average and have really good visual quality as well. This upscaling tech has made older GPUs so much better, but regardless, the 1660 Super on its own, even without the upscaling, you shouldn't have any problems getting 60 FPS on medium settings in Cyberpunk. Now let's talk about some Red Dead Redemption 2. 1080p medium-low settings. We got a minimum of 74 FPS, a max of 125, and an average of 99. This is again another demanding AAA title, but running these medium-low settings, as you can see on screen right here, Red Dead settings are kind of weird, so just take the settings that are on screen and run with that. It does show that this system can definitely go higher. It can go up to the high preset if you want to, if you're just looking for 60 FPS, but if you're just trying to get a high refresh rate experience, let's say you're taking advantage of a nice 1080p 144Hz monitor, then running 1080p medium settings in pretty much any game you throw at it, you'll get at least 100 FPS, which is going to be nice and smooth. Next up is Forza Horizon 5, medium settings 1080p. We ended up getting an average of 106 FPS. If I learned anything from this benchmark run is that this thing is more of a 1080p high card than it is a 1080p medium card. The 1660 Super still amazes me. We have used this card a ton recently here on the channel. It's really cool to see that Aisurix has a model that you can buy, so you don't have to dive into the used market and maybe buy a dud and have to worry about that sort of thing. But the performance speaks for itself. Any AAA title that you're wanting to play, you'll have no problems getting a 60 plus FPS experience. You also have that NVENC encoder for live streaming. I think the 1660 Super as a card is still very underrated and not a lot of people are using it in PC builds, but this Aisurix model needs to be a little bit cheaper still. That doesn't change the fact for me. Now let's dive into some live action gameplay. First up in Warzone 1080p using the balance preset with quality FSR. We got 90 plus FPS, but we averaged about 100 most of the time. We did dip into the 90s, very high 80s sometimes, but it was a very smooth experience. Pretty low latencies for a game like Warzone. Now on our test bench, we use a Ryzen 7 5700X, which is a solid 8-core 16-threaded CPU, which does play a little bit of a role in some of the benchmarks we're doing here. But if you are going to build a new PC around this graphics card, I would say the i5 12400 from Intel would be a good option, or something like the Ryzen 5 5600 or 5500, because those CPUs will make for, let's say, like a $600 to $700 gaming PC that I think will be very capable in 2023 and beyond. Now let's talk about Apex Legends 1080p high settings. We actually got 100 plus FPS, 120 at times. This is a slightly more demanding esports title. It is AAA, so you are getting those nice visual graphics there, but you're easily able to get a high refresh rate experience with this game. And Apex Legends is notorious for, even on higher settings, running pretty good on older hardware, so just like to throw this one in because this is a popular game that people like to play, just like Fortnite, which is a game that I will say is much more CPU dependent, but since we switched away from performance mode and just running DX11 with the following settings on screen here, we're pretty much running like a high settings using some of the upscaling technology that we can take advantage of. We still got 120 plus FPS on average, and we were rocking a high refresh rate experience with the 1660 Super. So for those who want to know what Fortnite runs like, here you go. 1660 Super runs great on Fortnite. Now we'll say this is a very interesting card because it performs well, the cooling is there, it's a 1660 Super throughout, and there's really nothing I can complain about. It all just comes down to the price. I think if this card was $159, it'd be an automatic approval from us, but I think the price is a little bit too high from Aisurix, and hopefully they take this as feedback and are actually able to lower the price, because you can go on AliExpress if you really want one of these no-name graphics cards like the RX 580 2048 stream processor rebrands we've seen from Aisurix, and some of the other ones we tested here on the channel. This falls into that same category. You can buy those on AliExpress for like $130, but you are going to have to wait a month or two, and there's a high risk of something happening in shipping. At least with Amazon, you have those protections, but I really don't think the protections are worth the $50 to $60. So drop the card down by like 20 bucks, $15, maybe $10, and I would probably say 15 to 20 bucks. And I think you have a really good option here for a budget gaming PC build. So now we finished the benchmarking section of today's video. How would I bring Jackson back in here to wrap this video up real quick?
So although this graphics card is just a little bit too expensive, we'd love to see it maybe 15 to 20 bucks cheaper, it is still a really good card, and the fact that it's basically new with some sort of warranty is pretty cool, because I mean, if you buy one of these on eBay, there's a good chance it shows up broken and you're just kind of screwed, you don't ever get your money back. But if you buy this with Amazon Prime shipping, you're gonna get it very quick. You know that it's probably gonna work when you get it, and if it doesn't, you got a little bit of a warranty with it, and also you know it has new thermal paste and stuff like that too.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing with these cards. We're not saying the warranty is gonna be super expensive, extended. I have no idea what kind of warranty Aisurix actually offers on these cards. It's probably pretty limited, but it does protect you from getting a dud in the mail where it just shows up dead on arrival. Amazon is really lenient in terms of the return policy there, so you have that return window. So for that, I think some people might be willing to pay the premium for it, but I do think there are still better options in terms of value for money on the used market with the 1660 Super. But if you are one who wants to buy it on Amazon, not have to worry about anything, check the link in the description down below. It'll be an affiliate link. It will help us out. Let us know if there's any other budget GPUs you want us to take a look at. We really like the cards on Amazon for that purpose, where you have the ability to return it if something goes wrong. And it's really cool to see these older cards being sold on Amazon with Prime shipping.
So as always, we hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, check out our other two YouTube channels and also our twitch.tv/ToastyBros, and do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And we'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.
So this graphics card right here will end up in a full custom build for PCBros.tech, where Matt and I will probably build it on twitch.tv/ToastyBros live for everyone to see, and then you at home could actually buy that PC and have it shipped to your door.
PCBros.tech, gaming PCs, gaming laptops, and so much more. If you use coast to coast code ToastyBros2 on checkout, you'll save 2%. We run with that. Y'all can, McAllister, just repeat that a couple times. Coast to coast, make a beat out of it.
Coast to coast.
See you guys later. Goodbye.